Hello everybody, welcome to this presentation about the pre-masters in psychology with Leiden University. My name is Jack Wiltshire and I will be giving this presentation, and after that there's a Q&A. But I'm not alone here today.
No, hello everybody, my name is Emma. I did my pre-master last year in psychology and now I'm doing my master's.
So if you have questions that you want to see answered through the student perspective, then please let us know. Please send in your questions. Our moderators are already prepared, so if you do have questions, you can send them in now and we'll get to it as soon as we start the Q&A. But for now, my presentation. Basically, this presentation is the same as the one you may have already seen online. But for those of you who did not see the presentation yet, I will go through the presentation a bit quick, but to make sure that you at least see all the important highlights. But a disclaimer first. This information is only valid for the upcoming academic year, for the September 2023 intake. Anything I mentioned may be subject to annual change, and we publish these changes, or we publish the most accurate information, the most up-to-date information before October 2023. So if you are looking to join, let's say per September 2024, then please make sure that you look at the website for the most up-to-date information by October 2023. And by the way, this presentation is in English, but the pre-master program courses are taught in Dutch. For those of you who do not speak English, because you didn't have a Dutch-taught secondary education or a Dutch-taught bachelor, then it is possible to take the relevant courses in our international IBP program. But it's not a matter of choice or preference. So if you do not have an English-taught secondary school or English, of a Dutch-taught secondary school or Dutch-taught bachelor, then you will be allocated to the English-taught courses. 5 specializations offer a pre-master currently: applied cognitive psychology, economic and consumer psychology, methodology and statistics in psychology, occupational health, and social and organizational. You may notice that these are all non-clinical specializations. So we currently offer only 5 pre-masters for our 5 non-clinical presentations, pre-masters and specializations. Our pre-master is a preparation for the master. It's intended to bridge the gap between your current education and our bachelor. This has to be done within 1 year. So you may imagine that this is only possible for programs that are closely, more or less related to our bachelor. So if you look at the programs that we accept students from, if you have an HBO background, then you see the list here: maatschappelijk werk en dienstverlening, pedagogiek, sociaal-pedagogische hulpverlening, social work is also mentioned there, and toegepaste psychologie. There is an asterisk with social work, so the diploma itself is not sufficient. We also check to see whether your courses consist at least of 60 EC worth of psychology courses. So it's not just about the diploma if you're from social work, it really is also about the number of credits in psychology that you already took in your program at social work. You will find this asterisk appearing more in this sheet with the academic bachelors that we accept students from. There's a total of 9 there, but you can see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, even 5 with the asterisks, indicating that again, it's not just about the diploma, it's also about the number of credits you already did in psychology during your program. And there is a special condition there for students who did liberal arts and sciences in Utrecht. You can also find this on our website, so you don't have to make notes now, really. The pre-master program consists of lectures and work groups, and they are offered between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. So please be aware that it's not safe to assume that you will be able to work any evening. You may be allocated in lectures and work groups that are during the evening hours. There are individual and group assignments, evidently, tests, evidently. what probably less evident but worth mentioning is that you will be together with first, second and third year students from our regular Bachelor in Psychology. So the pre-master students are not in a particular special group. You're all mixed with all the other students. Well, a bit about the contents then. A lot of research and methodology and statistics there. Psychometrics and psychodiagnostics. Some theoretical courses, depending on your background. A specialization course, because our pre-masters are specifically aimed at one master specialization, and the bachelor project, or thesis, whatever you want to call it. In more detail, the screen is a bit little, but you may be able to see that in the top, in the list, there's a lot of statistics. Then there is the bachelor project and one general course for everybody, psychodiagnostics. From the third bit, you will get one course, and from the bottom list, you will get one of these specialization courses, depending all on the specialization that you aim for. So it's a tailor-made program, especially for that specialization that you wish to pursue after your pre-master. It's a full program, it's 60 EC. So please be aware that it's not an easy program. If you join us with a academic bachelor degree, then it's slightly different. You'll see that there are two less statistics courses there. That doesn't necessarily make it easier, but we do assume that you've had sufficient statistics already in your current bachelor that would allow you to join in with our more complicated courses that start later. Again, psychodiagnostics and the bachelor project. Instead of one course, you get two courses from the third category, two courses that are pertaining more or less to the specialization you aim for. And again, then a specialization course tailor-made to the specialization that you wish to pursue after your pre-master. It comes to a total of 55 EC, so it's a little bit less, but still it's quite a full program, really. Application and admission. You should apply before April 1st. There's only one deadline there. You should apply before April 1st. But we strongly suggest that you try to finish your application before the 25th of March, especially since sometimes if you start too late, you will find that it's maybe hard, maybe more time consuming to gather some of the documents, and you don't want to be too late. So please aim to really complete your application before April 1st and preferably a week before. How should you apply? Well, like with any other application in the Netherlands with a university, you start in StudyLink. So you go there and you try to apply for the Bachelor in Psychology, and then you choose for the Advanced Year option. After you've done so, your information will be sent to us and you will receive login details for our online application portal, USIS. There you will be able to indicate which pre-master you want to do, plus the master you aim for. Well, you are supposed to upload a CV, copies of your diplomas and transcripts, and if you have not yet finished your current education, then please upload the most up-to-date transcripts and the list of courses that you are still taking at the moment. So we have a complete picture of everything you do and are about to finish. It's worthwhile mentioning that there are maybe additional requirements, especially if you come from HBO. You may also come from HAVO. You may not have mathematics at HAVO level. So then this information is quite important. If you do not have mathematics at VWO level, then you are required to have mathematics at least HAVO level, and then at least also with a pass grade on your diploma. If you don't have this, then you have a deficiency. In that case, we do offer a specialized mathematics course from January to about March or April, depending on the exact start date. You can enroll before January 15th, so this would also be a reason to apply early. Or you may be able to apply for only the test. You have to enroll before March 15th. If you pass this test, then your deficiency is solved. If you do not solve this deficiency by taking part in our course or our test, then you have to take an external test, but then it will be a VWO mathematics test or an equivalent with, for instance, Boswell Beta. If you intend to take a test with an external organization, then please inquire with us first which ones are best. Our mathematics coordinator, Kim Minnebo, will be able to inform you on that. But if you do have plans to not take our course but take an external course, then please inform us. And please apply early, because then you will know well in advance. Same more or less applies to English. If you do not have English at the VWO level, which basically is the requirement in our education, you should at least have passed English at HAVO level with a pass grade. If this is not the case, probably it will not apply to you, but it is a possibility. Then you will have to take like an IELTS test or a TOEFL test. It's still mentioned there that you need a 7 for the IELTS test. I think we dropped it to 6.5 by now. But again, sufficient reason to apply early, so you will have a conditional admission statement as soon as possible, and you will know the conditions under which you will be admitted. Some other additional entry requirements. There is an academic competence test, and you will be exempted if you have an academic bachelor or the first year of a psychology bachelor from academic university. So you can be exempted, but if you have like an HBO program, then you will have to go through the academic competence test. It's by the end of May, more or less, and there is no resit for this test, so you get only one chance to pass this test. If you don't pass it, then you will not be admitted, and you will also not be allowed to try again next year, so it really is one opportunity. Then again, it's not something you can prepare for or learn for. It's not about content, it's really about academic thinking and academic reasoning. So it shouldn't be a problem if you aspire to be an academically taught master in psychology. Another twist, you have to finish within 1 year. So it is quite a heavy program, really. On paper, it's 60 EC or 55 EC. It can be done. It shouldn't be a problem, really. But you really have to put your mind to it. So it has to be finished in 1 year. And the committee is not likely to make exemptions and grant extensions. So really prepare for working very hard for 1 year at least to make sure that you put in all effort and finish the program within 1 year. You will not get a bachelor diploma after a pre-master. So please be aware that this really is only about gaining access to a specific master specialization in psychology. Closing now to the end, my last sheet. If you have any questions concerning uploads, technical matters about uses and that kind of stuff, then please contact our admissions office. It's a central office. They have a FAQ on the website, and you can reach them through masteradmission@sea.leidenuniv.nl. This is for the more technical matters concerning your application. If you have questions about more about the content of the pre-master, more about admission with a specific diploma, etc., then you can contact us through pre-master psychologie, so not psychology, but in Dutch, psychologie, pre-master psychologie, no dots in between, at fsw.leidenuniv.nl. So this was my last sheet. I'm looking now, they will switch to, there we are again. We will now switch to the screen with our questions. One message in advance. We have a moderator, and she will be selecting the questions. We try to make sure that we don't list too much of the same question. So, but if you have a question that is not answered within this Q&A, then please send us an email and send it to the ambassador.mscpsy@fsw.leidenuniv.nl. And that is, the first question is already there. If my previous education program or bachelor is not very specific and not mentioned, is it still possible to join the pre-master? No. The list on our website of HBO programs and WAO bachelors is conclusive. So if your program is not in the list, then we are not able to offer you a pre-master program. I mean, the pre-master program is tailor-made, but only only possible for these specific groups of programs that have a relatively close relation to our bachelor in psychology. The next question coming up: are there special requirements for liberal arts and sciences only for students from UU or also other universities? There are all kinds of requirements for all kinds of programs, but I know that there are, I think, 1 or 2 specific tracks for the liberal arts and sciences students from Utrecht. So it is on our website. It was not in my sheet, but it is on our website. This is simply because there are specific tracks that you can basically already start. In case of Utrecht, this is very specific and is specified on our website. In case of the other programs, it's probably a more general requirement to have at least 60 EC of psychology in the program. So there are additional requirements for all, but for Utrecht, it is specified to certain tracks. Are you directly admitted to the master of choice after passing the pre-master? And the answer is yes. A pre-master is a conditional admission to the master. So if you get pass grades on all the courses that are in your pre-master program, then indeed you will be directly admitted to the master of choice. That is the master that you chose beforehand, because your pre-master program is tailor-made for this specific master specialization. And there's no selection afterwards. So if you finish the pre-master with pass grades, then you will be admitted to the specific master. You will have to apply. I mean, it's not like that you have applied for a pre-master, so you're already registered for the master. You still have to apply after finishing the pre-master. But yes, you are directly admitted to the master after finishing the pre-master. If you have any questions that you'd like to see answered from the student's point of view, then please let us know, because we're here together. Do you have to know which master you want to follow before applying for the pre-master? Is there an overlay in content or subjects? The main difference, depending on whether you're coming from HBO or WAO, but the main difference is in some of the content. So for the HBO students, there's 1 course. For the WAO students, there are 2 courses, and you also have to explicitly choose a specialization course that pertains to the specialization you want to take in the master. So you really have to know in advance which master specialization you aim for, because your pre-master program will be tailor-made to that. There is an overlay in content, certainly, because basically everybody has to go through the same statistics and stuff. You will be together in bachelor projects, because they may not always go into the direction of your chosen master. There may be more general things in the bachelor project. So yes, there is an overlay, but the difference is what makes it tricky. You do have to choose in advance which specialization, which 10 EC specialization course you want to take, because that determines the master you will be admitted to. Okay. I finished my bachelor in biomedical sciences and did my minor in psychology. Am I applicable for the pre-master? If biomedical science is not in our list, I don't know by heart, but if it's not in our list, then you will not be admitted. A minor is not sufficient to get admission to a pre-master. So please do check the list on the website with the academic bachelor programs that we admit students from. If it's not there, then I must disappoint you, then you will not be admitted. can you do the pre-master in Leiden and do a master at the VU? Good question, but that's not a question you should ask us. If you want to know, you should ask the VU, because they determine under what conditions they will admit you. This is not a question that I can answer. It can also apply to other universities. I mean, I know that there have been students that took a pre-master with us but went elsewhere. But it's not up to us to answer that question. You really have to ask with, in your case, the VU or any other university that you may consider to take your master with. Did I understand correctly that if you have a propeduise in a psychology BA, you can also be admitted to the pre-master? No, that is not correct. Way in the past, this was a possibility. This is a few years ago now, but you cannot be admitted to the pre-master based on a psychology, BA psychology propeduise. Unfortunately, that's not possible anymore. You really have to have one of the specified diplomas in order to be admitted to our pre-master. How many people are roughly admitted to the pre-master? Well, basically, we admit everybody that meets with the criteria. So there's no selection. There's also no non-numerous clauses or numerous fixes. There's no fixed capacity. So basically, if you meet with the criteria, you will be admitted to the pre-master. But there's a big difference in years, because now we only have 5 non-clinical pre-masters, when in the past we also used to offer 5 clinical ones. And so this year we started with, I think, about 15 pre-master students, something like that, when in the past it used to be over 100. So, I mean, the numbers have changed through this, due to this change. But if you meet with the criteria, you will be admitted. Finally, Emma, is there something you knew before you started this program?
Well, for me, I did my Bachelor in Liberal Arts and Sciences, and that is a really different kind of studying that you do, because there was more talking about things and discussing things, whereas psychology is more factual knowledge that you have to apply. So you first have to really know the concepts and what exactly it means, and then you talk about it. So it's really different kind of type of education that you have, and I wish I knew that before, but I really like it. So in the end, it wouldn't have made a difference to my choice, but it would have been nice to know beforehand.
I mean, it really is different.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if you come from HBO, then you will find that the way things are taught, the courses, the work groups, they are really different. On the other hand, if you come from HBO, then you usually have quite a strong work ethic. You're used to making long days and hours and really working to make progress. So, I mean, it's not really a problem, but it is different. So you have to get used to it. But usually students adapt quite fast, really. So don't be afraid of these changes. I mean, just embrace them and you will be okay. Another question for you, Emma. How did you experience the pre-master? Did you think it was hard?
Yeah, it was quite a lot of work. The workload was it was a full work week, as you should approach any study that you do, of course. It was 5 days a week that you had to really work on, do your readings, doing the assignments, studying. So it was really hard in that kind of, in that sense, that you had to really put your mind to it. But I was really interested in all the materials, so for me it was not hard in that kind of way that I had to put my mind to it. It was just really enjoyable and interesting, so it was not difficult to put my mind to it.
And this is what we hear from many students, really. I mean, you have to finish the program within 1 year, whereas with other studies, then it may not be a problem to skip one course and take it later. In HBO, it's probably a bit different, but in those of you who are currently taking a VO bachelor program, I mean, it's quite easy to take something later. And you can't do this with the pre-master program. You have to finish it within 1 year. So it is, you have to work hard indeed, and this is what we get from most students. It's a tough year. But it's a year well spent, really, if you consider the fact that you will be admitted to a master. After the pre-master, can you do a clinical master? No, unfortunately not. There's a reason for this. All our clinical master specializations, they will have a fixed capacity as of September 2023. Because of this fixed capacity, we have to have a selection procedure. And when you have a selection procedure, you are not allowed to have two or more sets of criteria for different students. You can only apply one set of criteria to all applicants. So we are not allowed to use another set of criteria for HBO students than for WO students, for instance. It's simply not allowed. It would be discrimination. So because of this capacity limitation, we are not able anymore to offer pre-master programs that admit to our clinical master specializations. So the 5 programs that were in my third or second or fourth sheet, those really are the ones you can apply for. Unfortunately, it's not possible anymore to get into a clinical master specialization after a pre-master. If you're really set on doing a clinical specialization, then your best chances are to, well, basically do the bachelor in psychology. If you have a finished bachelor, either HBO or WO, then you will be exempted from all the elective courses, so it would leave you with a program of 2.5 years. Unfortunately, it's financially not as attractive, evidently, as a pre-master. Financially also. It will take you more time, it will take you more money probably, unless you start in a bachelor in psychology while you are still working on your current education. Then you may be able to finish your second WO bachelor at the low usual rate. But it is more difficult, more time consuming and more costly than a pre-master, but it's the only way really. And for those of you who have an HBO diploma, you can apply for the bachelor and you can be admitted based on your HBO propenduizen, but to our bachelor. But you have to go through also a selection procedure with the bachelor as well. So if you happen to be a first year HBO student and already looking forward to doing a clinical master, then this is the time to realize that after finishing your HBO propenduizen, that's the way to go and try to gain admission to our bachelor program. The only way to go to the clinical program is now through a bachelor in psychology. Do you think it's possible to do a pre-master next to part-time work? It will be hard. I will ask also, Emma, but basically you have a 40-hour working week. So if you have like a mindless job some way Saturday morning at the bakery, then that's not a problem. But if you have like a serious job for 1 or 2 days a week, then you are really not going to enjoy yourself. It's going to be hard. Because you can only use your time once. You still need time to relax in the evenings and the weekends. You may have a social life, or you may have family that you still wish to see. So no, it is not really easy to combine with a part-time job, especially since you're also not sure whether you will be allocated to courses in the evenings. So it is difficult. Did you have a job while studying?
Yeah, I had a job, but I had a different pre-master because it was tailor-made because I did liberal arts and sciences. But it was very difficult and I did not really have a lot of time for myself anymore. So it's not really advisable to do it. But if you really, really want to do it, it is of course possible to do a very small part-time job on the side in the weekend, for example. But yeah, I wouldn't do it.
If you want to make sure that your chances of passing the pre-master within the set frame of 1 year, the only option you get, then you do not want to jeopardize this by taking on a a relatively big job. And with relatively big, I already mean 1 day. I mean, if you can do it on the weekends, fine. Some evenings, maybe, if it's flexible, it is possible. But I wouldn't advise it, just like Emma said. It's not advisable.
No.
Is it usually way more people from HBO doing the pre-master, or also quite some liberal arts and sciences? Well, I guess right now the majority of people are from HBO, and there are some liberal arts and sciences people there in the current group. I would say that when we still offered the clinical pre-masters, there was a majority of people of liberal arts and sciences. No, this is exaggerated. They were more or less evenly distributed. But right now, I think the majority is HBO. That's really the bottom line. Right now, the majority is HBO because most of the people with an academic bachelor always intended to go for the clinical master specializations to begin with, while people from HBO still actively consider going for social and organizational or economic and consumer psychology, for instance. Right now, the majority is HBO. Is it possible to be exempted from some courses if one has already done them or very similar ones? Well, if you have actually done these courses with us, exactly the same courses with us, then you evidently don't have to do them again. But once you start talking about similar or very similar, the committee is quite drastic. If it's quite similar, then it will be quite easy for you to pass the course that you think it's quite similar to. So you will simply be told to take the courses. So in general, except for some exceptional cases where students actually took some of our courses, maybe 1 or 2 in a minor with us, then evidently one will be exempted. But otherwise, you will simply be told to do the program exactly as we specify it, even though it may be, some of the parts may be relatively similar to one you have already taken. There are still questions popping up. Is it possible to apply for a pre-master in psychology with a Bachelor of Science, WO, or do you need to do extra work? The programs that we admit students from, the ones from a WO Bachelor, are listed on our website. So there's it's not a general option to be admitted based on a Bachelor of Science. Only the specified programs on our website are the ones that can gain admission to our pre-master. So it's impossible if you do not have a Bachelor in Psychology to be admitted to the pre-master. So you have to have one of these specified programs, the specified diplomas to be able to gain admission to our pre-masters. Any other program than the ones listed on our website cannot gain admission. Does the country in which you obtain your bachelor influence your admission? And does the country in which you obtain your BA, pre-master, MA determine the country you will be able to work in? That's a question in many, with a few layers. We do not offer a pre-master to students with a foreign diploma. All our pre-master programs are tailor-made to the specified programs, so 5 HBO programs, 9 specific WO programs, Dutch diplomas, not for foreign students. We do not offer, I should not say foreign students, foreign diplomas. We do not offer pre-masters to students with a foreign diploma. They have to be Dutch diplomas. If you apply, if you wish to apply with a foreign diploma, then you can basically apply to our bachelor or our master. You will be admitted or you will not, but there are no pre-masters or other adaptation programs or bridging programs there. So it's either a yes or a no. So yes, if you do not have a Dutch diploma, a diploma from any other country, then you cannot gain admission to a pre-master. It will either be you apply for the BA or the MA. but will it also determine where you will be able to work? And the answer to that is no. That is, your diploma is usually only one piece of the conditions that different governments or professionals bodies set for working in a specific country. So we are not able to tell whether our diploma would allow you to work, let's say, in Greece or in Germany. In Germany, for instance, recently legislation has changed quite dramatically. So no, we can really not tell whether our diploma would be sufficient to work there, because every country in Europe has a different set of criteria, either determined by the government or by a professional body. It's really not able for us to tell where you can work. Usually, in most countries, your diploma is not sufficient. Also in the Netherlands, a diploma is not sufficient. You may have to gain extra diplomas. That is, especially if we are talking about a clinical field. If you are taking one of the pre-masters with us now in a non-clinical field, then basically the possibilities are endless. I mean, you may probably find problems like these also abroad. So this is really not, if you're not trying to work somewhere in a clinical setting, then basically your diploma is as good as any diploma, or at least our diplomas evidently from Leiden are the best. But you can work anywhere as long as they want you, as long as your diploma and your education meet with their requirements. And so in that way, it does not determine where you will be able to work. So there's a big difference between working as a clinical psychologist in either one of the specializations, if you want to pursue a clinical career in the Netherlands or abroad. There you will find that there are many obstacles that we cannot define right now, but you have to dive into it yourself. If you want to work in a non-clinical setting, for instance, more social psychology, social and organizational, economic and consumer, then basically the possibilities are endless, regardless of the country you wish to work in. What makes Leiden different from other universities? Well, that's a question I'm not really able to answer. I guess you will have to visit open days, either online or live, with other universities to experience the difference, really. I mean, it's for everybody. Everybody perceives of Leiden and other cities in different ways. So there's really no clear answer to this. I mean, I know we have some very nice programs. I know we have some unique programs. So when it comes to psychology, I mean, this might be a good reason to opt for us. But I'm not saying that any of the other cities, any of the other psychology programs are worse or anything. So it's really about finding your match and feeling at home somewhere and feeling that the program meets with your requirements, really. So I would focus on that. Finally, a question again for Emma. Do you have any advice for people that want to do this pre-master? Any advice? Any advice?
Well, that's a really broad question. I think you really have to put your mind to it, that you really want to do this pre-master because you want to study psychology master. Just put all your effort into it, I would say. So you will pass in 1 year. That's my advice, I think.
I would like to add, take a good look at the program on the website and realize there's a lot of statistics there. So you will be really, you will be trained to be a scientist. I guess it's different than what you've learned, for instance, in a HBO course. It's more about application. You will find that it has a clear scientific twist to it. So please be aware of the difference. But if you feel like it, don't be scared. Really, don't be scared. Just try. Again, a question for Emma. What do you think makes Leiden different? Oh, okay. So I answer it. I can't answer it. Emma, what do you feel makes the difference?
Well, I haven't really looked at different psychology programs at other universities because I did Leiden University College. I just decided to stay at Leiden because I really liked the way of teaching here and I just liked the city. I live in The Hague, so it's also a short time traveling. I don't know. I haven't looked at other programs. Oh. I just stayed in Leiden.
it's a very personal thing, really. I mean, you should really try and get a closer look at other programs in other cities, really. It's really about finding a match. It's really about feeling a click, really. So do not just go by what we say. Please also look at other things to make sure that you make the right choice, because it's in the little details, really. So do look further, and do try to weigh off things, and also aspects like, for instance, traveling. I mean, if you do the pre-master program, you have a full program. It's really a 40-hour working week, regardless of whether it's a 55 or 60 program. You have a 40-hour working week. If you're not living relatively close to Leiden, if you have to come from way back in Brabant or maybe in the Achterhoek or Groningen, you're not going to travel every day. You're not going to be happy about it. So, I mean, also the distance towards the distance between your current living location and the university is also something you should take into consideration. So. It's really many things you have to weigh off to make the right choice. And evidently, we would like you to choose Leiden, but it's really about making the right choice for you. Okay, any more questions left? I'm looking at the moderators. There are no questions on our board at the moment, so if you do have questions, then you should be fast, really, because if there are no questions popping up within the next minute where I'll start babbling and stuff, then I will simply ask you for your attention, and I will, I guess, I will refer you to a special email address. Maybe it can be put on screen. If questions you have not been answered during this session, then it is still possible to ask questions. Yeah, there it is. ambassador.mscpc@fsw.leidenuniv.nl. Any questions that we have not been able to answer during this session, any specific question you may have, you can use this email address. In my presentation, it's already pre-recorded on the website. You can also find the sheets there with the specific email addresses if you have technical admission questions or more content-related questions. So you can also use those email addresses. And there will also be a link available to all the people that attended to a recording of this session. So if you want to go over some of the information again, that is also a possibility. So in the meanwhile, no new questions have popped up. Oh, wait a minute, one there. When I have my bachelor degree in applied psychology, will my final exam grades from mathematics and English at HAVO level still be looked at? It all depends on whether you have mathematics at HAVO, I guess. I think we are a bit more lenient nowadays when it comes to English if you have already passed a bachelor degree. But the mathematics really needs to be there in some way. So we're looking at your HAVO diploma or possibly VWO diploma before that. So that's where we're looking when it comes to the mathematics and English. There's only one way really of finding out and getting a good answer is send this question to us. I will forward it to one of our admissions officers and they will be able to inform you on that. So please send this question again, send it to the email address mentioned or to the other ones in the presentation, and we will get you a definite conclusive answer through email. Can we already apply for the math course? I can't find it on the website. No, you can't apply yet. It's a very specific offer and we will only offer it to those who have applied. So I can only suggest that you apply as soon as possible so you get a conditional admission statement as soon as possible. Then you will know the conditions and then you will be informed about the options that are available to you. One final look at our moderator. No questions popping up anymore. Well, in that case, I would like to thank you for your kind attention. Oh, there's one more. Oh. Yeah. Do you need to enroll for the pre-master? This is really the final one. If you have a bachelor in psychology with a clinical psychology major from another discipline. If you, we do not offer pre-masters to bachelors in psychology from the Netherlands or foreign bachelors in psychology. If you have a bachelor in psychology, regardless of any minors or anything or majors, you apply for the master. So in this case, you want to apply for methodology and statistics, please apply for the master in methodology and statistics based on your current grades, diploma, and the course you still take. So simply go through the regular admission procedure for the master. The last sheet pops up again. Thank you for your kind attention. Any questions, please address them to ambassador.mscpc@fsw.leidenunif.nl. Thank you for watching us. We hope you will join us later and that you will apply. Also, thank you for being here, Emma. We'll see each other later, I guess, I hope. Bye.